All right, guys, give me just 1 minute and we will get going. Got to grab my coffee before we start up the stream. All right, so I am here, and wow, this was rough today. Just getting the situation going here. So, episode 4 of the Caffeinated Collector, formerly known as the Weekly Roundup, is here, and man, it was tough to get here today because well, if you guys have been following on the channel, I've been having a little bit of a storm issue going on here in my area. We've got some massive snow. We had like a blizzard yesterday, so that's why the stream is a day later than normal. So thank you for bearing with me this week because, man, this has not been a good winter for 2026. So it's been oof, it's been rough. All right, I just had to do a quick mic check because somebody told me I was muted. I know you're watching at work. What's up, man? I was just. What do you mean you were just? Oh, JK. Oh, okay, dude. Yeah, you can't be DMing me that kind of stuff and let me know. Like, I will believe you. Like, I'm like, it's like Ron Burgundy and Anchorman. Like, I will believe you if you tell me that things are not right. So this is only my fourth time doing this, so we got to do it. So today, it's weird because the title and everything, something's going on. I got to figure out the coordination between Meld Studio and YouTube Studio. It's not really cooperating with each other. So when I make a stream and things like that and have things going, it doesn't it lines up, but then it doesn't line up. So I have to actually restart the streams. So that's kind of what's been going on. So I do apologize for the couple minutes of delay. My title, everything else changed. My thumbnail changed. So I'm still getting the hang of it. Like I said, this is a growing thing. It's a learning thing. But This week, obviously, I had some cool figures that I'm going to show off and we're going to talk about as we show them. And of course, there's a couple of topics I do want to touch base on if we have the time. And I'm going to try to make time for it. And it's more gaming stuff. So it's going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about the shakeups over at the Xbox division of Microsoft. And I'm going to get a little bit, because I am a PlayStation guy mostly, I want to talk a little bit about PlayStation and Sony's kind of fumble again with closing another studio that has actually done some really good stuff with the form of Bluepoint Studio. And, you know, that's kind of it. I got a couple little treasures that I picked up over the last week. Maybe I'll show those off as we're going throughout the stream. But welcome, of course, everyone, to the Caffeinated Collector again. And I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go. Going to just double check and make sure my insurance company isn't coming now because they said they needed to change the time. Nah, man, not showing it off right now. I gotta wait. Can't be spoiling everything. What's up, JT? I just have to reach my insurance company guy real quick, text him, and make sure he's not coming today. I mean, right now, because he said he might come at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And I told him not to come until 2 to 4. So I just want to make sure real quick as people are rolling here. So again, good morning, everybody. Good evening, everyone, wherever you're watching from. Like I said, this week we do have some good stuff. And the stream, of course, got a little bit of a kerfuffle, but we are on point. Again, a lot of stuff going on. I got, for those of you who weren't on the stream a little while ago, I was streaming, game streaming in my other room, and that happens to be my living room. And when I celebrated during my ZZZ stream, getting happy that I pulled Suna, I kind of went like this and looked up, and I just paused and went, wait, something's not right. And looked up at a crack with water in it in my ceiling. So that's what's going on with me. I have literally another room in the house that's going to need to get torn apart, and ceiling's going to need to get ripped out because, you know, I live in New England and it's a blizzard every other freaking week here. So that's that. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about the figures this week. So this past week, I should say, I did actually get to do my regularly scheduled shorts. So as you guys know, I post YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, TikToks, and I do photos over on the Twitter side of things, just so I can kind of keep engagement going up. Obviously, these are of all different kind of figures and collectibles that I just kind of pick and choose each week. Some weeks we go the theme week, which is what's happening this week currently, starting today. So, spoiler for this week, we're getting a Hatsune Miku week again this week, because Miku week always brings people in, and people really love it. So we're gonna have a Miku. Oh my god, yeah, a Miku highlight week. You can tell I haven't been getting much sleep. So yeah, that's gonna be what we're gonna be doing this week on the channel. And I know my lighting is off, but yeah, I like I said, I rushed to get this done today. Yeah, looking dark. Yeah, it's a little dark in here. It's just because the lighting over there is kind of, but that's all right. That's all right. As long as you can see the figures and you can see what I'm showing here, we're good. So I'm gonna get into it now, because we are a little bit into the intro. Kind of got you guys figuring out what we're gonna be doing over the course of the week. I am going to be back to videos. So originally the plan was today I was going to do this stream and then jump in and do a gaming stream. Sorry, I have to keep looking back at my insurance company. But we're not going to do a gaming stream today. We're going to actually do that tomorrow. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, there's going to be gaming streams. And today is going to just be recording. So I'm going to be recording a bunch of content, finishing up a haul video that I have. Literally everything is right here around me for the haul video. It's going to be a like quick rapid fire haul video. I'm going to do it in a short format and a long format. It's basically just stuff I've been picking up since the beginning of the year. So it's going to be 2026's first haul. Then I'm going to be shooting another haul video that's going to drop next week for a massive Big Bad Toy Store order that came. And then our first unboxing video for the year. Oh my God, I've been slacking. Will be going live. And of course, it's going to be Denji and Beam from the Chainsaw Man Reze movie. And I'm very, very excited about those. So again, it's just been kind of a build up here over on my side with just nonsense. So again, it's the problem of owning a house is kind of everything goes wrong. But that's it for the updating, kind of getting into the swing of things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the figures that I showed off in this past week. Now, some of you may or may not know, we had Chinese New Year, we had the Year of the Horse, things like that. So those of you who did celebrate, obviously, I had some people here that come to the channel that were very, very happy with these figures. Some were a little upset and shot me some shade, and we'll talk about that when I get to another figure. But most of y'all were pretty happy with what I started out the week, of course, celebrating the Year of the Horse with Miku Monday and this super adorable Hatsune Miku with the Roadie horse, of course. This is another one of the collabs that they've done where we've seen Miku and Roadie, we've seen Miku with Rascal the Raccoon, and we've seen more recently Miku with Cinnamon Roll. So she's been doing a lot of these collabs, these figures, and man, this is just so freaking adorable. And I love what they did with this figure. From the very, very tiny, tiny, tiny base. Very, very small footprint for a base. And with a figure that's kind of wide like she is, it could have had a wider base. But I can appreciate the very small base on it. Super minimal. And it just makes the rest of that figure stand out. She's on like a shooting star here. And even the dress, where I, normally we'll have people going, oh, did you do an upskirt? Did you do this? I do get those people that make those comments. Most of the time they get deleted. But no gooning on Miku in this video. She's all covered with flowers underneath the dress. It kind of adds a little bit of flair. I really, really like this one. And this is actually the first in a series of the Miku Roadie Horse crossovers. Now, I know there's, I believe, 2 others in this set. The more recent one is a more pastel-looking one with a pink Roadie horse. And I actually know the Gigi Monstar got that one recently, so we have 2 of those. She has one at her mom's and one here. So we'll be showing that one off probably this week for Prize Figure Face-Off. We'll see, but I have to see if it's in my shipment box or not. So this thing, all in all, is just, I don't even know how to describe really what's going on with this figure. I mean, because there is a lot. You've got the Roadie horse that has it's like a spotted Roadie horse, almost has like a giraffe look to it, right? I mean, I had people ask if it was a giraffe, and no, it's not. It's the Roadie horse. It's a thing in Japan. It's one of those mascots in Japan. And I just think with this one, it just captures that celebratory spirit, which is why I used it for the Year of the Horse celebration, because it does look like it's very celebratory. And Miku just has these rings going up her arms. I don't know what the symbolism of that is, but they just look really cool. And I mean, again, the dress, it has all your standard Miku colors and flair to it, but then just the way it puffs out with that massive bunch of flowers underneath it. It's something I've never seen in a Miku figure or in really any other prize figure. So I absolutely love it. I think it makes it stand out really, really well. And, it's one of those figures that it pops, from her twin tails kind of flowing out and having these little spirals that come up off of them, like almost little dangles that are kind of coming off to the actual translucent tips on the hair, which I always say it, I'm a sucker for the translucent hair pieces. This thing is just, it's amazing. You know, the look on her face, the wink, all of it. It is just freaking adorable. I love it. And it is one of my, I don't want to say one of my favorite Miku prize figures, but it's definitely becoming one of my more favorites as I, open up newer ones and things like that. But I can't wait to size it up against the other Miku Roadie Horse figures, because then we'll really see how this series has evolved. And like I said, I know there's at least one other figure. I'm actually going to check right now as you guys are looking at it, because there's this one, and then there's a pastel one, and then there's an exclusive color variant. So yes, we have 1 and 2, and that's pretty much it. And then we have actually like it almost looks like not a Nendoroid, but I believe it's called a Chogokin. It's like a super chibi deformed Miku with a giant roadie horse. So other than that, that's pretty much what we're looking at here. But all in all, I cannot wait to see what they do with this line if they keep it going, much like we've had continuations to the Miku Rascal lines and things like that. Love it, love it, love it, and a great way to start the year of the horse. So that was kind of my little celebration thing for y'all. Obviously, people really, really loved her. I did have a lot of people asking where to buy her and have been requesting that I post links in the descriptions or in the comments. So I've been trying to do that now a little bit more, so you guys can have a link to where I know of that you can buy them, and especially if there's an Amazon link, because if there's an Amazon link, then I do get some credit for it. So I've been trying to share those out now, so we're going to try to get into more of a habit of doing that. But now, as far as what else we had this week, someone just told me, hold on a minute. In 1 second here, I'm going to put Miku back up because I got to just answer this insurance company real quick. Again, like I said, water damage in my house. I got to make sure I can get this. So I do apologize. But excuse me. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure this guy wasn't showing up during the middle of my stream. Okay, he is going to come later on today. So again, I wanted to make sure I could get this today. I wanted to make sure I could get this stream done today, but I also need to try to get my house fixed. So it's definitely a pain in the butt. But yeah, so that was Miku again, as I just showed you again while I was predisposed here. So, going into the Chinese New Year kind of thing, I looked for something, and I know it wasn't China related. It wasn't Chinese New Year's, but I kind of looked for the outfit, something that would almost kind of look like a celebration thing for Chinese New Year's. And I know, trust me, I heard all about it. I got some very angry DMs from people telling me this figure was not Chinese. It was not a Chinese New Year's figure, but it was the thought that counts to me. I went, of course, with the Princess Kaguya ROM from ReZero for Twin Tuesday. And I know it's not a Chinese New Year figure. I know it's not. I should have stated that in my description, but I did get some very angry people telling me it was this and that. It was racist. I wasn't trying to be racist by showing a Japanese celebratory figure. I'm sorry, right? All right. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but this one it was kind of as close to a New Year kind of, with the kimono and everything kind of celebration thing that I could find in my ReZero collection, because in all the ReZero figures I have, and I have a ton of them, they didn't make a Chinese New Year one that I'm aware of, at least. They did it with a Hatsune Miku. I do have that one, but I know they have like China dress versions of the ReZero girls, but they're kind of the sluttier looking dresses, you know, with the boob window cut out and things like that. And I was trying to steer away from that with this. Now, personally, I think this is a super freaking adorable statue or figure of Rom. I love, this is the pearlescent version. So this has a different color tone to it, obviously. It's a little bit shinier. And I know, again, she's not a Chinese themed figure, but I went more towards the celebration type figure, right? And I know it's Princess Kaguya version. That is not Chinese. I know it's Japanese. Okay, I do know the difference. But I need to get that out there because, again, I had about 20 DMs between different socials. From as drastic as, you know, calling me an ist and everything else because I got the wrong culture. And I get it. People do get offended on the internet. But then I got some people out saying she was really, really cool. Saying, again, it was the thought that counts. Whatever. So, you know, it's the internet. The internet is going to internet. But all in all, to the figure and not just the drama about the figure, you know, I think it's a absolutely beautiful piece. Whether you get this version or the, I believe it's called the Pastel Colors edition, which has more, not monotone, but I guess flat pastel colors, right? Whereas this one has all the shiny stuff going on. And of course, I do have a phone call, so give me one moment. Okay, sorry about that. That was the that was actually the contractor calling me again for all that. But okay, back to the figure. There should not be any more interruptions, guys. Back to this. Now, this ROM in particular, some reason, and I don't know why, she actually doesn't have a partner figure, which is different. Because normally you get a Rem and a ROM, or you get just a Rem, right? Right, you do that. Uh-oh. Did we just get a glitch here? Okay, no, we're good. All right. All right, we had a little hiccup right there. Oh, you know what I did do? I didn't hardwire. Give me one moment. I know I just screwed something up. One moment here, guys. Uh-oh. Let's see. Hopefully we're good. Okay, I apologize. It was just changing over to the hardwired. Sorry again about that hiccup. That was my bad. Okay, so we're good now. I am sorry about that, guys. Like I said, this has been a hectic week. But yeah. So back to Rom here. There is not a companion piece to this one, which is very funny. Because, like I was just trying to say, normally there is a duo, right? Or you get a singular rem usually. So it's very different. And I do like that we got a singular ROM in this case. I think it's very different because, again, normally she's in a set. Usually there will be, I believe it was called, oh my God, what were they called? The Twinkle series or the Twilight series. And they were in a kimono like this as well. And one was holding like seals, and the other one was holding a fan, and it was the rem and the rom together, rem and ram. You know, I even get told it's different, but it's really cool to have a singular piece for her. And again, I think she looks absolutely gorgeous from just her actual headpiece to kind of the way the dress all flows and everything like that. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And again, if you're a fan of Rom, this is actually pretty cool because it's a solo piece. It doesn't have to have a companion. There isn't a companion for her. So again, it's something a little bit different that they did. And I know they do that. I know they do that with some of the figures. Obviously, we'll get solo Amelia's, solo Echidna's, stuff like that. But usually when it's the twins, you do get a duo or a solo Rem. So it's rare we see a solo ROM, something like this. So very, very cool figure. And again, I apologize for the hiccups right there. Hopefully everything is going good. But but again, this one got me some flack on the channel just because of the way I advertised it, right? I showed it off as a Chinese New Year figure, and I know it wasn't, but drama aside, absolutely gorgeous ROM figure, and I do recommend it. Probably, if you're going to go with it, I do recommend this version, the pearlescent version, over the standard color one, but that's just my personal opinion. I think the pearlescent tone and color makes her stand out a little bit more than your just standard matte pastel colors. So that's it for Twin Tuesday. Now, obviously, like I said, she's absolutely beautiful. I'm just making sure that we are still good. All right, we're still good. Oh, man, when it rains, it pours, man. When it rains, it pours. So, going into the rest of the week, we did have, it was kind of a joke, and I got corrected a couple times. Waifu Wednesday was a little bit of a joke. I kind of was making a joke, guys. Now, don't think I really believe this, but I advertised it as new character to Fortnite, and of course it was Magic from Marvel Comics, from the X-Men. Yes, guys, I do know I collect comics. I have her first appearance. But yeah, I did play it off as, oh my God, new Fortnite character, Magic, and I had people correcting me. I know, like I said, it's the internet, but this is a higher end piece than what usually I show off. So this is from Iron Studios' incredible 1/10 statue line. And man, I'm going to tell you, with their Marvel Studios pieces, it's a little hit or miss with the actual celebrity likenesses, right? And obviously in a smaller scale statue, that's going to happen. But with these X-Men 90s look kind of figures or statues, obviously, these things are, every one of them is just knocked out of the park, and Magic is no exception. She, of course, is Colossus's little sister, obviously grown up here with her soul swords, and this thing is so dope. This is part of what's called the Sentinel Battle Diorama series, or the Sentinel BDS series. And obviously you can see the base of this one has a Sentinel hand where she's kind of porting out of it. She's got killer booty shorts. I will get to that too. And the details on her are incredible. Everything from the spikes to all the little grass and the kind of moss growing all over the rocky structure in the base. to the actual swords themselves being super freaking clean. You know, all of it looks absolutely amazing. Even her headpiece, everything juts out perfectly. The hair is sculpted really, really good. It's not perfection, but if there was any gripe I could have about this, it would be just some of the lines in the hair. Other than that, this thing is solid, man. She's got those washboard abs, man. She looks dope. The coloring on it is incredible. And I say that about every one of these Iron Studios pieces. And I know I have not reviewed one in a while. I will get back. I have a stack of them over here against the wall. Man, JT, these are waifus. I don't care what you say. She's a waifu, all right? She's like, she's in Marvel Rivals. She's in Fortnite now. She's gone across medias now, man. She counts as a waifu. But she's absolutely gorgeous. And again, the only reason I haven't done more of these 1/10 is the pricing on them. I wanted to start with the Spider-Man line because I love Spider-Man, but they've almost tripled in price since I started collecting these. So we'll see if I go and get any more in the future, but I do have a bunch of MCU ones and things that I still have to review, and some of the X-Men lines I have to review as well. So maybe you guys will see a little bit more of these in the future, but if you do want a closer look at her, I did do a full unboxing and review, 2 years ago now on the channel, so definitely get a closer look at her than this. But she is an absolute stunner, as well as the rest of the X-Men line, which, I mean, I look at them when I stream, they're across the way from me. They're absolutely incredible, guys. And if you can find her for a reasonable price, I highly recommend it, as well as the rest of this X-Men line. So, highly, highly recommend it. Hey, man, JT, sorry, man. Can't have you happy every time, dude. You know, a waifu is a waifu. It doesn't matter if she's Japanese or not, you know? To me, it's a waifu. I gotta just say it, man. I mean, I could literally say that, you know, waifu by description is a fictional female character that a fan can be romantically attracted to. Concept includes characters from video games, Western cartoons, and other media. So, I mean, that's the definition, dude. I can't help it, man. I can't always be anime ladies. I do like more than anime. You know, I love every media, man. I'm pop culture. I know I got the anime waifus behind me. I got the Marvel guys behind me. I got the X-Men. I got DC behind me. I got Star Wars behind me. I even got fairy tale women up here. You know? So, hey, you can hate, man, but sorry. I mean, I'm wearing a waifu. I'm wearing toga, you know? But I mean, you know, hey, can't make everyone happy every day, right? But if you guys do like, some of you, others, do like the X-Men, check out the channel. I've done tons of unboxing and reviews on those amazing statues. If you can get some of them, man, they will not disappoint. But be ready to pay out the nose for resellers. So, Thursday, did not do a Reincarnated of the Slime figure because I had one lined up, but because of the storms and everything else and the insurance company nonsense, I didn't get, you know, around to it. But X-Men by Prime 1, oh, dude, Prime 1s are amazing, but I'm just a poor dude. Like, I work in a grocery store. I can't afford Prime 1. These few sideshows I have lining the tops up here are about as much as I can afford. Prime 1 is too rich for my blood. Can't do it. So Reincarnated Thursday, I had the Angel Rimuru, which causes a lot of controversy here on the channel when I post Angel Rimuru, because he does look like a straight out chick. But that's kind of the shape-shifting way of Rimuru. So we'll show him off next week, because this week is going to be a Miku week. But I did go with a Figure Friday because we got, of course, a new God of War game. We got the new remake trilogy announcement for Figure Friday. I went, of course, back to Kratos, the God of War. And this is, of course, from the original God of War series, of course, not from the Viking era. This is from his Spartan era. And this is from the God of War Ascension Collector's Edition. So I know people have said his face is a little wonky. His face doesn't look angry enough. It was a statue in a collector's edition. You know, it still looks pretty damn good for what it was. And it was actually a reasonably priced collector edition back when this came out. So I can't complain too much. And it's one of the only Kratos, I think this is actually the only Kratos I have in this version. I do have the Viking era ones as well, you know, the Norse era ones. But all in all, like, I think this is a pretty solid Kratos. I mean, other than when we zoom in, the new movie, I'll get into that in 1 second. I'm probably gonna go see that, but but this Kratos, I did get some people telling me how he looks wonky in the face. He's not angry enough, but you know, I think for, again, a collector's edition statue that was cheap, the details on this thing are actually really, really solid. From all the details in his Blades of Chaos to just his detail of the leather kind of work in his loincloth and his, you know, his sandals, to the chains wrapped around him, even actually the scarring on his face. Other than the look, I mean, he does look angry, but not angry enough. I get it. But I think the pose is really good. Everything looks solid on it. I mean, from the different angles, he looks really damn good. And I think even now you can get this at a pretty decent price. Let's see. I mean, yeah, you can get this for like $100 still. So it's pretty dang affordable. Surprisingly, because most collector editions do go up as time goes on. But I feel like if this is something that you'd be interested in having in your collection, get it now while it is affordable, rather than wait for when the new Amazon series or the God of War remake trilogy comes out and then people really start hyping up again. Because you know, when that happens, this is going to end up going up in price because there's going to be more of a demand. There's going to be new fans, things like that. So depending on what we get for a remake statue, maybe there's going to be one with that. I don't know. But if you're looking for a budget-friendly Kratos that really does look good, this is definitely one I would recommend. And again, looking online, you can get them for about $100, and it comes with the game. Sealed ones are looking at around $200, $250. So again, it's still, as far as collector's edition goes, it still is in the realm of purchasability. You know, I think that's a word. Yeah. But I do highly recommend it, even though, again, the face might not look angry enough. I think the thing that could have made this chef's kiss would have been if he had the open mouth and he would look like he was screaming. But I think having a scowl on the face, it does enough. You know, he looks like he's ready to pounce. So very, very cool piece. And again, I thought it was appropriate with the new Sons of Sparta game, I believe it was called, that dropped last week. And no, I still have not played it yet. I heard mixed reviews about it. And I know it's a side-scroller Metroidvania type-ish game. So, and it's also digital only. So you guys know me. I don't really like that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get it when it's on Steam or something for cheap. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. But again, if you're looking for a budget-friendly Kratos, You don't want to pay for the sideshow one where he's sitting on the throne and all things like that. Definitely check out one of these. And you'll get a copy of the game with it. So, physical media forever. But that was it for our Figure Friday. Now, because I did not do a Reincarnated as a Slime figure on Thursday, I brought back another segment on Saturday, which leads to our mascot on the channel, our new mascot. I had to come up with a name for her. Our mascot got a change of wardrobe this week where she was in a little bit of a schoolgirl outfit. And it was to celebrate the return of a segment I used to do that was pretty popular, of course, called Schoolgirl Saturday. Now, this goes back to the girls of Bang Dream Girls Bang Party. Not a sexual name. It's not the name of a thing you're going to find on the internet, on the hub. This is actually a video game series, an anime series. It's a rhythm game series that is very, very popular. And, you know, there are a mind-blowing amount of characters in this series, especially as the mobile game and even the Weiss Schwarz. They have a Weiss Schwarz card series as well. These characters are extremely popular. And of course, this is the guitarist and the lead singer of one of the bands called Afterglow. It is Mitaki Ran. And she is one of my favorite characters in the series. I think she's a little bit of badass. She's got some sass to her, and you can tell by this figure. This is a very, very basic line series, and it's called the School Days series, as you can see right here. And it has the earlier iterations of the girls, not all of them. It has the majority of the initial launch, so to speak, of the girls in Bang Dream. And this, of course, is their guitar player of Afterglow. And we had, I think, 4 of the bands represented in this series. And they all have their different schoolgirl uniforms, but they are all in their very, very standardized school uniforms, right? Nothing fancy, nothing flashy, nothing slutted up about them. It is their very standard uniforms. And I do appreciate that with this line, that they didn't go over exaggerated, overly sexualized, anything like that. And I've gotten that comment about these, that, oh my God, it's a schoolgirl where her butt cheeks aren't hanging out. Oh my God, it's a schoolgirl where, you know, her boobs aren't busting out. And it's true. I appreciate that about these. And again, as a fan of the game, I was addicted to this game. It's one of the only phone games I played until it stopped working on Android, and then I got rid of it. So maybe I'll go back to it. It was a very, very good rhythm game. I used to call it my Miku alternative, because when I was between Vocaloid games, this was kind of my drug of choice for rhythm games. And the songs are freaking bomb. If you check it out, it's on Android and iOS. They have a huge variety of songs. They cover a bunch of anime themes. They cover Miku songs. I mean, they cover everything in this game. And you'll find a band and a band theme that you really like. I think they just more recently added 2 new bands. So maybe we'll see an expansion on this line. I don't think we've seen it with the other bands like Morphonica. I think this line might have just ended. So hopefully there'll be a resurgence. Maybe we'll get some more, but there are at least 24 of these figures in this set. So if you are looking for a complete set, you're going to pay a pretty penny. But the difference is, just like with most things, some of the girls are more popular than others. She, in particular, is one of the more popular characters. So in the aftermarket, you might be paying a little bit higher than retail for her, but not too much. So, I mean, if you're looking online, yeah, you can get even a lot of them on Amazon right now, which there are a couple I have to still pick up. But she's a very, very awesome one. Like I said, she's one of my front and center pieces in the Bang Dreams series. And I even have her versions where they're playing their instruments. So they have other versions of some of these girls as well. But again, the School Days series, I really like it a lot. And like I said, I like that it is a tasteful look on the schoolgirl look. Again, she's not overly slutty. Her booty's not popping out. Her boobs aren't busting out. No provocative poses. They've kept it very classy, and I can appreciate that. As someone who does love the fan service, I can still appreciate when we have something like this. And they all fit together so well. You could put them by class, you could put them by band, however. But again, if you have a favorite in the Bang Girls, Bang Dream Girls, not Bang Girls, Bang Dream Girls series, definitely check out the School Days series. Again, they are very affordable figures for the most part. I think the most you're going to pay for a couple of the girls is maybe like $35-$40. So still in the range of what a typical prize figure goes for nowadays. So highly recommend them, especially if you are a fan of these games in general or of the anime, which is also pretty freaking good. So if you haven't checked it out, you love rhythm games, check out Bang Dream Girls Band Party. And yeah, that's it for the week. So those were all the figures that I highlighted last week. Again, this week, spoiler alert, is going to be a Hatsune Miku week. So starting tonight, we're going to get a Miku, and we're going to get Miku every single day this week. And next week, we will talk about Vocaloids for the stream. So very cool. Again, I'm a huge Miku boy, and I know there's a lot of Miku fans. Miku weeks always do very well. So what I always do here at the end of this segment is I give you another peek. So again, we had Miku Monday with the Chinese New Year, Year of the Horse celebration. Obviously, Miku and Rhodey, the OG, the original, the first one in this set. And I absolutely adore her. I think she's insanely cute. For Twin Tuesday, the controversial, not Chinese New Year celebration of the Princess Kaguya Ram, which again, this is the pearlescent version that I think is the superior version. Love this figure. I think she stands out very well. Waifu Wednesday is the apparently non-waifu magic from the incredible Iron Studios X-Men Sentinel Battle Diorama series. And of course, this is a 1/10 scale statue, Polystone, absolute banger. Guys, if you're looking for an affordable magic, this is the thing to go for. You will not regret it. Thursday, we had no Thursday. We had no Rimuru, we had no Milim, we had no Shuna, no Shion, no nobody. And Figure Friday, we went, of course, with Kratos, the God of War, who we just saw several seconds ago. And this is from the God of War Ascension Collector's Edition. Absolutely adore it. Like I said, you guys are looking for a cheap, affordable Kratos. You can still pick up this set, the box set itself, for around $100-$120. So if you're looking for an affordable Kratos, not really too big, but very good quality, look into the Ascension Collector's Edition. And again, as I just showed, we close out the week with the return of Schoolgirl Saturday with Ron from Bang Dream Girls Band Party. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the week. Now, what I do here is I usually give my opinions on my favorite figure this week from the higher end and from the lower end. So in this case, I had one higher end piece. Default is going to win that one, which is, of course, Magic from the X-Men for Waifu Wednesday. She is my pick of the week for, well, the higher end stuff, because she's all there is. But very awesome piece. Again, I cannot sing the praise of these enough, but I won't gush about Iron Studios quality for too long. That was my higher end pick. Now, for the lower end stuff, prize figures, you know what? It's gotta be her. It's gotta be. It's gotta be Miku and Rhodey, because this thing is so freaking awesome. I adore it, guys. I think she is. Oh, she's just. I don't know. She's so freaking cool. I love it. Like I said, I love the way they have under the dress. They have the flowers kind of popping out. I think it's super cool. It's very unique. And the roadie horse just is freaking adorable. So you can't really go wrong. Like I said, all the flair she has all over her, the look on the face. This thing is just, it's absolutely gorgeous. And for an affordable, cheaper prize figure, I can't recommend it highly enough. But those are my picks of the week. If you guys are watching on the VOD actually after, let me know in the comments who your favorite was this week. If you have any suggestions for any themed weeks, because I try to do one themed week per month. Obviously, last month was best of, the year ending stuff. And January was the best of stuff. And this month, I don't think I actually had one, but that's why we're doing one right now at the end of the month. So we're going to have Miku theme this month. So I need a theme for next month. And with the X-Men Magic Iron Studios non-waifu, as I was told here in the chat today. No, seriously. I'm thinking maybe we'll do an Iron Studios week again. So a American comic series week. Maybe we might do that. Or I might do a video game theme week, because you guys seem to like when I highlight the video game collector's edition stuff, video game figures. I've got all the Persona guys right here. I've got, just knocked over the protagonist, but I've got all the guys from Persona 4, obviously here's Skull. You guys really seem to like when I highlight the Persona figures, things like that. But yeah, I have all the Persona 4 figures up here. We've got, of course, Street Fighter figures here. So I can do a lot of different themed weeks. And, we'll see. So I'll kind of try to pick everyone's brain and see if you guys got any opinions in the chat. I thought I was going to sneeze, but yeah, if you guys have opinions or thoughts, what do we got? Bunny Girls, dude. All right. Before I get into anything else, let's talk about that real quick. Bunny Girls. I love me some Bunny Girls. I do. Like, that whole shelf on that side of the room that I look at is all Bunny Girls up top. Most of the shelves are Bunny Girls. I love me some Bunny Girls. My mascot is a bunny girl that I had, AI make for me because I can't draw for crap. But I've done several bunny girl weeks, and yeah, they don't really do that well. I know. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I've done a few bunny girl weeks, and they get flagged a lot, and it tanks my views for that week if I do a bunny girl week. I try to slip one in the weekly figures rotation here and there, and I'll talk about that right now, because I think I've been told by YouTube it's not a thing. I think it's a thing. Anytime I post a bunny girl short, bunny girl reel, bunny girl TikTok, they get nailed by the algorithm. And I'm always told YouTube's copy paste response is your audience doesn't resonate. This doesn't resonate with your audience. Your audience doesn't view this content. And I always respond with some of my most viewed videos on the channel, which are bunny girl unboxings. So I say, you make it make sense to me. How are that bunny girl unboxing videos are some of my most highly viewed videos, but you're telling me bunny girl shorts are not content my subscribers or my viewers watch? Make it make sense. And then YouTube just goes another copy paste thing and says the same thing over to me. So I don't know if I'll do another bunny girl week. Maybe once I get back into the swing of things and I've got more videos coming out every week and things like that, maybe we'll do it. So maybe for March we will do that. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's a good idea. It's a good way to test the algorithm again. So we'll put that up here into consideration. and maybe we'll do a Bunny Girl week, but I'm not too sure yet. So, like I said, I'm pretty safe doing Marvel week or a video game week or a Miku week or things like that because they're for the most part inoffensive. I know, strangely enough, like on TikTok, things like Rogue from the X-Men get flagged as adult content. I believe I had trying to think. I had a couple that I posted. I'm looking here behind me if one of them might be it. She might be over here. But even stuff like this, when I did the video game streams, the video game weeks, when I had Cammy from Street Fighter here. I don't know if I could focus on that. She was flagged as adult only content. And yeah, she's obviously awesome. But she got flagged as adult only content probably because of the booty, from the back here. She got flagged. So I do have to be a little careful with the figures I post. And when I do bunny girls, they get flagged all the time on TikTok. The Instagram reels do pretty good, but here on YouTube, they get flagged. Even though YouTube says they don't, but they get killed. They get killed in the views. I mean, I've got like single digit views when I post a bunny girl, so it hurts. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll do that. If I get any other suggestions, I'll probably run with those. But since next month is my birthday month, maybe I'll just say, you know what? It's my birthday month. We'll do a bunny girl week. So we'll see. But good suggestion. So that's it for the figure side of the stream. Obviously, the first 45 minutes or so, I like to go over all the figures. Now, before I get into a couple of topics I want to talk about, they're going to be gaming topics. I want to talk a little bit about some acquisitions that I got this week. So not much, nothing crazy, but I will show off a couple of recent acquisitions that I picked up this week. And first, I'll start with some game stuff because you guys know I am a whore for physical media, right? So I did pick this up over at Bull Moose for about $10, and it's a game I didn't actually have yet. Ni no Kuni 2, right? The Revenant Kingdom. I actually didn't play this one. I adore the first game, and I heard they did change a lot in the sequel here, and it didn't get received as well. But I picked it up for $10 at Bull Moose when I went out into New Hampshire, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I don't have it. I think it was in the collection when my previous ex lived here with me, so I did have it in the shelf, but it wasn't mine, So I bought my own copy, and maybe I'll check it out on stream. But something I was a little excited that I got, and I got it sealed, which is really, really cool. And I picked it up at a shop when I was in New Hampshire for $10 as well. Is this a game I have not played yet, and I know it's very hyped up? Hollow Knight. I got a physical sealed copy for PS4, guys. Now, I know people glaze up this game and Silk Song. I've not played either one of these yet, and I do love me some side scroller, Metroidvania type games. I was a fan of the Bloodstained games. I really liked those a lot. So I'm excited that I was actually going to get a physical copy of this for a decent price. Not sure if I'm going to stream it because I heard I might end up getting my booty kicked in playing them and embarrass myself, but I am very rusty when it comes to side scrollers and things like that right now. So I don't know. Maybe we'll stream it, but I have not played Silk Song because I always wait for physical copies. If I can't get it physically, now that I have a new PC and I can game on PC, I might look for Steam sales. But pretty excited about that. And then something that's definitely a weird one. It goes into my obscure game collection. I picked up over I picked it up over at shop that I highlighted in one of my other haul videos, Game Exchange, right? It's I don't want to say a local game shop, but it's a smaller, independently owned game shop. They have a couple of them around. Now, I found this. I do have a Switch One. I found this in the box. Ring Fit Adventure, right? I don't know if any of you guys have played this, okay? But this is pretty freaking fun, right? The kiddo had this when it came out, and it was wild. It's basically, this is what do we got here? WTF? Okay, yeah, what the fuck? Okay, I'll get to it. I'll explain this to you. So this game here, it's a gimmick game for the Switch, right? And I don't think it can be played on the Switch too. This is basically a fitness RPG. And I think it was really cool because like when she was little, she played the hell out of this game. And I honestly I played it for a bit too. But that went with her when her mom moved out. So she has a copy at her mom's. I found this and it was in the used section, right? For $30. But when you opened it, I was pretty excited. This thing is everything is still sealed in it and it's all brand new. So this was actually something that was pretty cool that I found. And if you're looking for like an obscure RPG, this is definitely going to be up there for you guys. So the thing that's cool about it, and again, this is Ring Fit Adventure. You do need this kind of ring thing. It's part of the game. So you put your Joy-Con in it. You put another Joy-Con on a leg strap, right? Now, the fun part about this game is you level up like in an RPG and you learn new moves, but all your moves are exercises. So when you're selecting combat, you have to actually do the exercise that the move has in order to successfully hit the enemies. So it's a very, very cool thing. And honestly, it did make you sweat a little bit when you played it. So I was really excited to have found this at a used game store in the condition it is. Because a lot of times I've seen this ring thing, all kind of warped and kind of corroded and crappy. You know, the straps kind of looking like they've been used to hell or even bit on. So finding this in a used game shop was really, really cool, especially finding it for under retail. This thing I got for $30. Being everything inside of it sealed, I think that was a really cool score. Again, as well as the sealed copy of Hollow Knight and a $10 copy of Ni no Kuni 2. So those were the hauls that I got this week on the gaming side. I was pretty excited. Again, nothing crazy, but I did get one thing. I'll talk about that next week because I don't have it on hand with me. I did get a Blu-ray I was very excited about getting until I realized it was a bootleg. but I'll bring that up in next week. On the figure side, which you'll see them in the new haul video, I did grab, you'll get a sneak peek. Give me 1 second. Before I do that, insurance company is calling me. All right. Sorry about that. I just brought up the figures just so something could be on there while I was chatting. That was just the insurance adjuster guy. So sorry about that. But hopefully you guys didn't hear that conversation. But yeah, if you did, I apologize. The mic was hot, but I thought I muted it. So yeah, just the insurance company looking to see if their inspector could come earlier. But now back to the figure stuff that I did get this week. I did get a couple of figures last week when I brought the kiddo and her friends all out to the mall. So I did manage to grab. I had to grab it. I don't have this yet, and it was so freaking cute. This fashion fancy Miku 39 cat girl Miku. I had to get it. Of course, it's by Taito. This thing just looked so damn cute that I'm like, dude, I gotta get this and add this to the Miku collection. And of course, I picked it up at Unsettled Geeks, one of my favorite shops. And again, as you can see, dude, these guys charge retail prices, $26 for this. They don't upcharge like a lot of other companies, a lot of other stores. I love that about that store. I did make a video about it. I love it. It's my favorite store. And I had to pick up another thing because, dude, sorry, man. I had to take it. It was my insurance company calling about the freaking water damage. I had to take it. I put up some figures while I was talking. Don't worry. What's up, Kyle? How's it going? Of course, you had to come in for that part. Yeah, dude, I had to come. I had to go live today, but I got so much stuff going on between the insurance company and the blizzard damage and the snow damage. Like, I'm trying to keep it going, man. I'm trying to keep it going. Was my call not muted? Oh no. Dude, was I not muted for the call? Or was the call muted? Because that guy was probably pretty loud if I wasn't muted. Oh no. Oh man. Oh, okay, good. Okay. Holy crap. Dude, no, cause my boy Ant, he's in the chat too. He's lurking right now. Dude, he gets me almost every week when he's like, "Oh, you're muted." He'll text me and be like, "Bro, you're muted." So like, oh man, all right, cool. Anyways, back to my excitement. I ended up picking up because of the disgusting, what I like to call rese tax that happens. I found the Glitter and Glamours rese at Unsettled Geeks for freaking retail, and I was so happy because I missed out on the Ichiban Kuji rese, and this one is actually taller than the rese from the Kuji. And of course, I will prove it right here. She was retail price right there, $26.99. So I got her for retail price. Did not have to pay the rese tax for her. Freaking excited because now I actually have a rese. I know it's not the Ichiban Kuji one that's going to go with my bomb and my Denjian beam, but she's going to be taller than the one that's a Kuji, and I'm paying way less. So that's going to lead me real quick to talk about what I call the rese tax. If you guys know, I'm a huge Chainsaw Man fan. I love Chainsaw Man. Newer manga arc, it's starting to grow on me, but the Chainsaw Man movie, I think, was one of the best anime movies I've seen in a while, right? Reze, they did her story arc so damn well, and it has brought along something I like to call the Reze tax. If we look, let me see if I can bring it up right here. Let's see. The Ichiban Kuji Reze figure, and I'll pull her up here on the GameStop website just to show what she typically goes for, right? Here it is right here. So this is the Chainsaw Man Reze Ichiban Kuji figure. And again, that's on the GameStop website. But as you can see here, she's just a standard standing, and she looks like she's getting ready to kind of pull her pin, right? $59.99 retail price. So again, she is smaller than this Glitter and Glamour's prize figure. And she's double the price at retail. Now, the funny part is, if you look anywhere else, right, because she's sold out everywhere, right, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. People are selling her for hundreds of dollars above her retail price. And that's why I say it's what I like to call the Reze tax, right? It's gross. I don't know what it is, but somebody's paying it, right? Somebody is paying for it, and it's crazy. I mean, we have listings here, eBay, $400+, collectibles websites. This one's Steel Collectibles, $250, eBay, $199 and up. Like, it's crazy. Another eBay, $296, $254, Mercari, $412. And people are buying these for that price. So it's like blowing my mind, right? And it's one of the things that puts a comparison, right? That I've been putting in a comparison. I know this wasn't one of my topics, but I'm going to go there. This is how I compare the fandom of the Demon Slayer movie and the Chainsaw Man movie, right? I saw them both. Was not a fan of the Demon Slayer movie. I thought it was extremely mid. Again, I think Demon Slayer is carried by its animation and its art style. That's peak. But everything else is kind of ass. Sorry. I have one character I like in that show, in that series, and it's Inosuke, just because he's basically Bakugo. So that's kind of why I like him. But this is how I make a point to people, and I've had this argument a couple times, is you look at how great the Demon Slayer movie did, right? And you cannot deny that. That movie made more money than Superman. It made more money than Fantastic Four, okay? And it was a freaking anime movie. Props. Shout out to them for doing it. Great job. Definitely more well-deserved than either one of those two shit movies, okay? But Chainsaw Man movie, Reze arc, actually didn't slouch either, right? It didn't do 600+ million. It's not getting re-released in theaters again, but it created a buzz around these characters, right? To where things like this, your $20-something Reze figures, are being scalped for $60+ online, and people are paying it, right? I don't see that with the Demon Slayer stuff. Now, when Demon Slayer first came out, bro, it was hard to get a Nezuko figure. It was hard to get a Shinobu figure. Like, it was. Right? Because my kid, she loved the girls of Demon Slayer. And it was hard to get those back when it first came out. And it since then has become like, they're always heavily discounted figures now, right? They are. With the Chainsaw Man movie, it created a buzz for merch. And that's something that I feel like a lot of things don't do anymore, right? From Star Wars new stuff, doesn't move product. Marvel new stuff, doesn't move product. New DC movies don't move product anymore. But the thing that the Chainsaw Man movie did was it created this desire for the Reze character. Okay? And I gotta give it, the Denji and Beam statue was really hard to get too. So it created a buzz for the merch. Everyone's got a Reze choker with the little bomb pull on it, right? Everyone's got one. Reze cosplays everywhere. It created a buzz for something more than the movie and the series. It created a buzz for merch and for something beyond the series. And that's one thing that I measure as success that way too, is it's like, look at how much the movie made. It made a good amount for I think it had a $10 million budget, and it made like almost $200 million. That's a damn good return on investment. Okay. Not what Demon Slayer did. Demon Slayer cleared 600 million, but pretty damn good return. The thing where they benefited from is merch sales, cosplay sales, everything. You got girls all over the internet doing the reze dance, right? It created this whole thing. And the way the movie did it and the way the manga did it was it made a very perfect cut for a movie. It had an open, it had a beginning, it had a middle, it had a climax, and it had a satisfying ending. But it also had a gut punch of an ending, right? Great movie. I love the way it was paced. But this girl right here was the star. She became the star of Chainsaw Man. She is the new It Girl. It's not Makima anymore. It's not Power anymore. I think they'll revert back eventually. But right now, it's this. And the Reze tax is real. It's not a myth. It is real. It is. I call it the Reze tax because every Reze figure, every Reze little acrylic stand, everything, if you go on Mercari, on eBay, even on websites, they are astronomically more expensive than any other thing in that line. And to me, that shows that what they did with the movie and how well they perceived Reze's character arc in that movie created such a big thing that it went beyond the series. And I love that. I hate it, but I love it because getting that Reze Kuji figure is going to be a pretty penny for me. But I don't know. That was a different tangent. I had to talk about it. So we got some anime gossip right there. So cool. I had a little anime talk. But before I get into bad topics, which is the video game stuff. So, hey, Kyle, I know you're in the chat. I remember you were always a big Xbox guy, so you might have some opinions on this. But I want to bring up some articles. I want to make sure I bring up the new things, right? The articles in the right order before I bring them up. But we're gonna talk a little bit about Xbox. We're gonna talk a little bit about PlayStation before I end the stream. I won't try to go too long with it. We'll try to stick to the 2-hour mark here on the stream today. But this is an article. I hate Polygon, but we're going to bring up this article from Polygon just to talk about it real quick and get some thoughts from people. So those of you who don't know, last week had some shakeups over at Xbox. We had Phil Spencer left, right? He was, of course, the big guy. I'm leaning more towards Sony and Steam this go around. Yes, I was going to say that too. I was going to follow up with that. So right here, I'm not going to read this whole article, right? But just this first line is funny. It seems Microsoft's patience with its gaming arm's hubris, bizarre strategic decisions, and failure to deliver has finally run out. That's a pretty interesting first line, right? Because it's something I've been saying for a while with Xbox. I think Xbox lost its way a long time ago. And I'm always someone who has every platform. Obviously, there's 2 people in chat right now that can vouch for that. I buy all the platforms, right? The last couple Xboxes I didn't buy because Xbox seems like it lost its way. It became more of like a let's gobble up as many things as we can get, as many properties as we can get, and do nothing with them. And that's what it's done. So right here, Friday, Phil Spencer announced his abrupt retirement from the position of CEO of Microsoft Gaming, overseeing Xbox and Microsoft's rapidly expanding publishing and development empire. So right here is the next interesting part. Nobody abruptly announces their retirement on the previous working day unless they've been asked to, or unless they submitted their offer of retirement. So that's one of the things that I'm a little fascinated about, and that's one of the things I was saying is there's got to be more to this. Whether somebody up top at Xbox said, hey Phil, all this crap you're doing right now, it ain't working. Our sales are in the toilet. People don't care about Xbox. People don't get hyped for anything anymore. People aren't hyped for new Halo. Infinite flopped. All these other things, right? we're buying all this stuff up. We bought Activision Blizzard for what was it, almost $80 billion, and we're kind of doing nothing, right? So it does make me wonder what's going on. Let's see. Phil leaving is one of the last nails in the coffin, giving the reins to a woman with zero experience in gaming, as well as giving AI power. Yes, okay, I agree with that, and I was gonna get into that. Yeah, exactly. So we now have here, even his second in command, so to speak, right? And they actually worded it that same way, second in command. Sarah Bond quit at the same time. So whether she knew he was going to step away or she didn't like that she wasn't going to get the position or whatever, I don't know. I don't have the details. I'm sure they'll come out eventually. But we passed up the guy who was running the division, his kind of co-commander in the whole Xbox empire here. And we gave it to, what is her name here? Asha Sharma, right? So now I'm going to switch over to another thing right here. Just these career milestones for us. So this is who they gave the CEO of Microsoft Gaming to. This lady has done nothing in the gaming division at all. President of Core AI. So the person pushing this Microsoft Windows Copilot dog crap down our throats is going to be in charge of our Xbox games division. And yes, Kyle, I know you are a hardcore Xbox fanboy, so I'm glad you were here for this today, because having you chime in on this is pretty interesting. Because, dude, so I've known this guy for a long ass time. Over 20 years I've known this guy. And he has been one of the biggest Xbox fanboys I've ever known. And even he's agreeing that this is a bad decision. So we know, and even guys who aren't big Xbox fans like me and guys who are diehards, like those of you in the chat, agree on something. It's crazy. So we've got here, from the 2 years she did Core AI, she was in charge of Instacart, right? And then in charge of engineering Messenger and Instagram for Meta. What has she done that screams, this woman should be leading our games division? Nothing about this woman says, here's the reins to our gaming division. Go nuts. None of it makes any sense, other than what I think is going to happen is we might be seeing the decline of Xbox, right? Further. And you know what? I will bring this up right here because this is actually pretty interesting. This is a more recent article. I think this is just from yesterday. I know it wasn't last week, but to follow up with that, I want to show this real quick. So right here, Xbox, I know I'm on IGN and their website is cancer. It's ass cancer. It's horrible. But this is interesting. Xbox is being sunsetted is a direct quote from Seamus Blackley. So he was one of the guys who started the Xbox back in the day. So it's pretty interesting to see your guys who created it even going out and saying this is not a good decision, right? I won't get into this whole article and reading it because it's usually a lot of word salad. But right here, it's an interesting quote. They don't say that's what's happening, but that is probably what's happening. I'm going to say probably. I'm not going to agree that it's 100% what's happening, but I'm going to agree that this is probably a sign of things to come, right? So this guy, obviously, he was the co-creator of Xbox at Microsoft in 2001, but then he left a year later, right? So he knows a little bit about the Xbox, and it's just interesting to see that little tidbit right there. Again, I'm not going to go through that whole article, but it's interesting to see that even the guy who created the Xbox brand, the Xbox system, saying that this is probably a sign that this is going out to pasture. And I've been saying that for a while, that I think Microsoft, even back during, what was it, the 360 era, where it was advertised as sports, 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 and watch TV and do all this. I believe that was the 360 E3. At that point, was it the 360 or was it the Xbox One? It was one of those two. But it was like, you remember the E3, it was cringy as hell, and it was like, we're going to talk about sports, we're going to talk about live TV, we're going to talk about this. And they didn't talk about games. And from that point on, I kind of was like, where is Xbox going, right? And since then, it's kind of been downhill, right? So it definitely brings a thing up, is there going to be any more Xbox? Is it going to be a console? Is it going to be a game company? Or is it going to just be somebody who licenses out games to other companies and becomes a streaming service? It's one of those things that I definitely wonder. But I wanted to touch base on it. I think having someone who is mostly AI focused is a huge, 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 huge mistake. And that could be just a sign of things to come. That maybe Xbox gaming is going to just be AI slop. Maybe it's going to get to a point where on Xbox you can type in your own prompt and it will generate a game for you. Maybe that's where they're looking to go in the future. I don't know. I just don't know if it's good. If it's good for gaming, if it's good for the business in general, and if it's good for, well, their competition, which I'm going to talk about that. It's a good segue. Sony, they kind of pissed me off a little bit. Let's see here. You want to address the decision made about Bluepoint? I'm going right there right now. Yes, I'm segueing right into that. Yep, dude, you're ahead of me, man. You're getting right ahead of me, man. Yes, we're gonna talk about that. So segueing from that to their competition, let's talk a little bit about this. Sony, I kind of agree with this headline right here, and it is. Sony closed a studio they did some very, very good remakes. And I know they made remakes, okay? But that seems to be the thing now. So this is over here from Polygon. Again, another site that is, it's cancerous, but we're gonna go with these headlines because it's very interesting. The destruction of Sony's go-to remake studio is one of PlayStation's most embarrassing failures. Bluepoint Games' closure is as frustrating as it is depressing. Now, I can definitely agree with that. I think it was definitely a shock that they shut down Bluepoint, right? Because I think the Shadow of the Colossus remake was phenomenal. I think the Demon Souls remake was absolutely incredible. And I think what the problem wasn't with the studio themselves, but more of what they were having them work on. And I don't feel that that's Bluepoint's fault. I feel like it's Sony's fault. Okay? Because Sony put them on this project, which of course was the God of War live service, online only game that we were going to get, right? And I honestly think that a God of War online game might have been kind of fun, like a combat focused game. But again, live service, we talked about it last week with High Guard and how that's been doing. I think a lot of these online live service games should all be put out to pasture. I think their time is kind of done. So I can get it, maybe not shutter the studio, maybe just cancel the project, right? So it says right here, latest blow to the roster of PlayStation Studios. Bluepoint will be the third Sony-owned studio to be axed in the past 2 years, following the closures of mobile-focused developer Neon Koi. I don't even know what they did. I don't think they even made anything for Sony. And then Concord's creator, Firewalk Studio, which I have to laugh because we all know how that turned out. That game was hot ass. It sucked. Nobody wanted to play that game. And and we're right there with High Guard. High Guard is the next Concord. But it's lasting longer. So the thing about this that's interesting is, the thing that does suck is this is actually an American developer, right? It's Austin, Texas based. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see American studios going under. And it does suck because with what they did with, here we go with the Metal Gear Solid God of War collections earlier on, and the amazing Shadow of the Colossus collection remake, and the incredible Demon Souls one. They had a good track record of remaking games and remastering them. Now, I'm wondering, personally, if the big problem is not with the studio and their ability to do the remakes, but maybe what Sony put them on, it wasn't working out, right? So that's kind of where my head is in this situation, is maybe Sony said, hey, you've done a great job with all these remakes. We're going to give you something else. And maybe, and this is just me theorizing, trying to rationalize their decision, maybe they didn't like what they were getting out of these past 2 years of working on this live service game. And that's the reason why they axed it. Okay. So maybe they decided it was the, what's a good analogy? We'll say oh God, what's that guy? What's his name? The guy that makes the horrible Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder. That's right. I just brain farted his name. So I wonder if it's almost a Zack Snyder effect, where you have, for example, Zack Snyder, amazing Watchmen movie, amazing 300 movie, right? Great at taking other people's work and putting it onto the screen, right? But then when you gave him his own reins to his own things, obviously the DCU was trash. And when he got full reins and he made that horrible Rebel Moon movie series for Netflix, it was straight dog shit. So I wonder, and this is just me trying to, again, rationalize it. I wonder if that's kind of what happened with Bluepoint, where Sony was like, dude, you're killing it with these remakes. We're going to give you the reins to make your own original thing. It needs to be, this, that, and the other thing. We want it to be an online focused game. Go. And they didn't live up to what Sony wanted. And Sony just said, well, hey, you're great at taking other people's work and remaking it, but not at creating your own thing. So we're going to axe you. I don't know. That's just me trying to rationalize it, right? Like I said, I call it maybe the Zack Snyder effect, where they're great at making other people's things and remaking them, but maybe not so good at making their own. I don't know. But it's just me trying to, in my head canon, make it make sense. Yes, exactly. And that's, like I said, I call it the Zack Snyder effect. It's, you're great at making things that other people have done. Watchmen, 300, phenomenal. But when you got full reign of things, Rebel Moon, things like that, yeah, you kind of suck ass. I don't know if that's what it is. I would love to see what they were working on. But the closure of Bluepoint is a big, big fumble, I think, for Sony. It's up there with when they closed Japan Studio. I loved all of Japan Studio's niche games. They were freaking awesome. But closing that studio was, I think that was the first time I looked at Sony and went, what are we doing here? Like, why would we close that studio? But it seems to be a trend nowadays where we buy these studios, We get these new ideas. It doesn't work. And then we close the studio. And Sony's not the only one who does it. Microsoft does it all the time. Everyone does it. EA does it. Activision does it. Well, some of those are owned by Microsoft now, but they all do it, right? Consolidation, saving money, whatever, cutting out, excess expenses. But it does suck. It's very sad. And that was the thing. They were working on a live service God of War game, and they canceled it in January 2025. So in the past year, they've been doing nothing. And from a business standpoint, if you have a company and it's not doing anything for a whole year, I can kind of understand why we killed the studio, but give them something else to work on. Give them what people have been begging for. Give them the Bloodborne remake. Hell, have them remake the Infamous collection. Have them do a remake of the Killzone games. Have them do a remake of one of my favorite shooters that Sony did, which was Resistance. Have them do any of those things. But just make them dormant for a year and then go, yeah, guess what? Yeah, you're not gonna work here anymore. That sucks, because you could have had, Sony has a great library, a back library that they could be remastering and remaking, and Bluepoint could be on all of those projects. So I don't know. Again, is it as bad of news as the Microsoft news? No, but tying them in together, we're gonna say one fumble and another fumble, right? The fumble with Microsoft is going to affect Sony and Nintendo and other companies, right? If Xbox goes away, it's like I said, was it last week or the week before that, about the retail companies doing this? When you don't have the competition, if Microsoft goes away and we just have Sony and then Nintendo kind of in their own little world over here, and we've got, PC and Steam, okay? 3 totally separate entities the way I look at it. None of them are in competition with each other, in my opinion. Right? Yes, exactly. I do remember that. When studios listen to the customers, that's when they were at their highest. And nowadays, studios don't listen to the consumer, right? The customer. That is the biggest problem with them now. And if Xbox goes away, it's going to diminish Sony's quality as well. Because just like I said a few weeks ago on this stream, when you don't have competition, you don't innovate. When you don't have competition, you don't try. So just like with the subject I had a couple weeks ago where I talked about the retail chains where Best Buy kind of forced everybody else out and then kind of just went to shit afterwards. It's going to be the same way with the gaming industry if Microsoft goes away, right? If Xbox goes away. If Sony doesn't have that Xbox to go against and keep going against, they're not going to try anymore because they won't have to. They're going to be the only home console. And that's going to be it. And it's going to just, the floor is going to fall out from everything. And then maybe after that, we see PlayStation go away. They just become a brand. And then we'll have what? Nintendo and PC. And I know some people like that idea, but I don't. I don't like the idea of a singular console. I don't like it. I think the industry is the healthiest when there's competition. I love a console war. I love exclusivity. I love it because you know why? It forces everyone to either try to get exclusive games or it forces them to create their own exclusive games. And if we don't have that competition, all of gaming is going to suffer. And I know people are going to say, what about indie games? Indie games are a whole nother ballpark, right? They're over there with the PC stuff, indie game stuff. Nintendo's over here. I mean the console war stuff. I encourage it. I like it. Because again, some of the healthiest industries we had in the gaming times were when there were console wars. Prime example, fans, we want a new Need for Speed that's like Underground or Most Wanted. Cool, we're not going to make any more games. Exactly. So that's one of the biggest problems with gaming now is that no one listens to the customer feedback. They'll listen to idiots on Twitter that are a small vocal minority complaining about things, but they won't listen to the people spending money on this stuff. And it's the same with every industry. It's the same with the movie industry, the TV industry. It's the same all the way around. These people, they're in their own worlds. They're in their own heads. And it's, we're so successful that who cares what the peasants say? And that's where it's gone wrong. And it's the same with gaming. But to come back around to that thing, you know, we need the competition. I don't really care about Xbox, but we can't have Xbox go away unless somebody else rises up to the challenge. If Sega makes a new console or something, we need multiple studios. We need multiple companies. We need the competition. Because if we don't have the competition, things are going to stagnate. Look at, like I said, look at what we had. Nintendo versus Sega. We had Super Nintendo versus the Genesis. We had, you know, the N64, the PlayStation, the Dreamcast. We had all these eras where there were just these competing things, all trying to get that little piece of the market and kind of chisel out their own little niche, you know, and everyone eventually started to do that. Nintendo had its little niche. Then we had Xbox burst into the scene, and Xbox was for the mature, you know, manly gamer. You know, that was the way they had their brand come out. We had games, Halo, we had Gears of War, we had even cringy kind of games like Brute Force that I really freaking loved. But we had like, Xbox was like these masculine, you know, America kind of games. And then we had Sony that was kind of like the Japanese take of everything, obviously the standard. And then, of course, we had Nintendo over here just being its own little thing, doing whatever it feels like doing, but it's still the kid-friendly stuff. And those eras were where we had the best games coming out. We had the most consistency, and we don't get that anymore. And it's because either A, companies are being bought up and swallowed by other companies to just do nothing, or we're just not competing anymore. Everything's the same. And that's where I think the gaming industry is going to be its own downfall. I think the consolidation of all these companies and the closing of all these companies, you know, and just it's killing the creativity. It's killing your competitive spirit. Where I can go, oh, well, I got a game on PlayStation here, but, you know, hey, I'm going to go get it on my computer later. Or I can get this on Xbox, but, you know what? I can stream it over here on my PC. It's just the lack of exclusive content, I think, is hurting the industry more than anything else. Because you look at Nintendo, and Nintendo is the prime example of it. You look, that Switch 2 sold like freaking hotcakes, and it is hot garbage for what you pay for it. It's nothing. It has a doo-doo library charging you to upscale your games to a Switch 2 version, but you know what? People are still going to it, and do you know why? Because Nintendo's the only place you can get it. You can only get it on the Switch 2. You can only get it on the Switch 1. Nintendo knows how to keep its claws into its customers. And that's what the other companies have forgot. And I think that's one of the worst things. It's one of the smartest things Nintendo does. Because it creates that mentality of, I gotta get the new Nintendo thing because I gotta get the new Nintendo game. And that is the one thing Nintendo has stuck to its guns about. And that's why they are continuing to succeed. Right? Yes, I can agree with that. These other companies are focusing too much on the wrong things. And that's what I was saying with Nintendo is sorry, I had to look over here to this screen for chat, so I wasn't not paying attention. But yeah, that is where a lot of these companies are falling. Yes, but that is the thing. That is how Nintendo did it, though. They cash in on the consumer loyalty, the blind loyalty. But that's the reason why they have it, the exclusivity. And that is, at the end of the day, it's what it is. It's the brand loyalty and it's the exclusivity of Nintendo. That's what we need to go back to. We don't need to go to what we're getting now with God of War going on the computer and God of War going here or God of War going to Xbox or Halo going to PlayStation. We don't need that. I know it's going to up your sales eventually, but it's going to also diminish that exclusivity behind your brand. So now it's my Master Chief. Well, he's a Sony character now too. So it doesn't go. Well, yeah, I gotta get that new Xbox game. That new Halo on Xbox. Oh no, now I can get it on PlayStation. I can get it on PC. I can get it anywhere. It doesn't make you loyal to that brand anymore. And again, I know a lot of people hate console war and all that stuff, but I love it, and I think we need it. And I think if Xbox doesn't do something, then it's going to not only hurt their gaming division, but it's going to diminish Sony as well. Nintendo's going to be fine. Nintendo is so overly Japanese that they are going to be fine. They are going to stick to their guns, even though what they've been doing with the Switch 2 is junk. Oh yeah, dude, the new Halo was garbage. Halo Infinite was trash. And that's why they're going back to the Master Chief Collection. They're going back to remaking Halo 1 because the new stuff is garbage. But that's where Nintendo knows how to get its claws into the fans and keep them there because it's exclusivity. So all the people that are saying nothing should be exclusive, everything should be on every platform, you're retarded. It shouldn't be. Because that's how you collapse the business. When everything is for everyone and everything is on everything, it's for nobody. Nobody cares as much. There's no drive to go get it. There's no desire to go get it first. You look at Nintendo, they did it with the Switch 2. They're even selling people key cards and they're still eating it up. I don't get it. Nintendo they can shovel out whatever, but it's because they have exclusivity still. And other companies are not sticking to it. I'm glad Sony still does do it a little bit, where they time it and go, okay, well, a year or two, maybe 3 years out, you can have God of War on your PC. That's fine. Sales have slowed down. Release it to PC. Sure. But I do feel, and I know I went off on this a little too hard, but I think it's something that I definitely believe should go back to that status quo. We need the console wars. We need the industry to be in competition. And it's the same way with the gaming industry as it is. Hollywood is the same way. TV, it's the same way. All of this is the same. We're not making things different. Everything is going to be the same cookie cutter X, Y, and Z in every one of these movies. And it just makes everything stale and stagnate. And if you look at box office numbers, it shows you the trends. If you look at viewing of shows and things like that, it shows you the trends. It's all there. The numbers don't lie. Studios and companies, they're sitting there picking their nose. Well, I can make money off that. anything else other than that. A little hiccup in the stream there, so I apologize. Uh-oh. And we're getting a little delay here. Cover it right now. Sorry about that. I thought we went low. Like I said, we had a blizzard out here, so my connection is a little shaky. So, and it's probably going to. This. So before my stream gets cut, because I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end things right now today before I do get abruptly cut off. Damn it. Trying to recover things here. Shoot. Okay. So we're back for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the stream because we are getting some severe lag. I'm having internet issues. But thank you to everyone who did come in and chat. I know I'm ending things a little abruptly, but we'll continue this conversation in the next stream. This is at the 2-hour mark almost, so we're about on par. But went a little off there, little off, but that's good. I'm going to end things today before I do get cut off because, again, we are having internet issues over here because of the blizzard. But thank you to all of you who came in and chatted. Shout out to all of you. This has been a really good conversation today, and I want to continue it in the next stream for sure. Thanks to everyone who comes in lurks because, you know what? You guys help support the channel too. And yeah, this has been a really good one, guys. Hopefully we can continue these weekly streams and weekly chats because this has been a heck of a lot of fun today. So while I can still say it, thank you all for watching and coming in today. And we will be back next week to Monday, back to the normal schedule. And we'll be back to all the gaming streams as well, starting Wednesday this week. So this week would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for gaming streams. Dead or Alive Volleyball tomorrow. Going to be trying to tie up the Platinum Trophy in Dead or Alive Extreme Scarlet. Another delay. Hold on. We got a lag. Are we still going? Okay. Whew, we're back. All right. I want to finish my outro. Okay. So that's going to be it. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Again, spread the nerdiness. Follow on all the socials. They are down below. And, that's going to be it. So I will see you all before I get cut out. See you next time, guys. Bye, everyone.